There is a hard truth, silently dismantling millions of relationships today. A truth that no school and no conventional advice column will ever tell you. A woman doesn't leave a man because he isn't good enough. In reality, it is often far more brutal. She leaves because, in his presence, she no longer feels anything. No healthy tension to maintain, no curiosity to explore, and, most importantly, no subconscious fear of losing him to a world full of endless options. You can be a model husband, a sincere lover, and a man who sacrifices everything for his family. But if she senses that you are safely tucked away in the palm of her hand, that your existence has become so predictable and safe that it borders on boring, her instinct to pursue and cherish you will begin to wither. What truly makes a woman never want to lose you isn't excessive kindness, expensive gifts, or self-abnegation. It is a deep-seated psychological quality, a silent power that very few men truly possess or dare to cultivate. Today, we aren't talking about superficial seduction tips. We are talking about repositioning your entire being to become truly irreplaceable. We've been deceived by an outdated ideology that claims if you check all the right boxes, stable job, always available when she calls, agreeing with every opinion to avoid conflict, you will earn eternal loyalty. This is a false promise because it ignores the fundamental nature of human desire. We never truly crave what we possess too easily or what lacks clear boundaries. Imagine a valuable object held so tightly in your hand that it can't move. Do you spend your day fearing you'll lose it? Of course not. You only feel the sting of fear. When faced with something of high value, that has the capacity to leave at any moment, if you aren't worthy of keeping it. When a man acts out of a fear of abandonment, he begins to sell himself at a discount. He becomes too available, too predictable, and inadvertently sends a subconscious message. My world is so small that it only revolves around you. This lack of personal space and emotional dependence is exactly what kills respect. And once respect vanishes, love becomes nothing more than a heavy obligation. A mature woman doesn't want a man who follows her like a shadow. She wants a man who, even when standing right beside her, belongs to himself first. A man whose presence is a gift, not a default setting. The one quality that makes a woman never want to lose you is a weighty presence, or what we call in deep psychology, a solid frame. This is an internal fortress that cannot be shaken by the emotional fluctuations of the environment around you. This doesn't mean becoming cold, robotic, or dictatorial. On the contrary, it is the ability to maintain your principles, values, and life goals, even when facing emotional storms or the unconscious tests from the woman in your life. When you possess this quality, you become a powerful reality in her life, like a fixed lighthouse in the middle of a vast ocean that every ship must look to for orientation, rather than a small boat tossed around by her every emotional wave. Human beings are naturally drawn to truth and stability. When you don't need her validation to feel worthy, and when you are firm enough to say no to things that violate your boundaries, you create an intense psychological magnetic pull. She realizes you aren't a toy to be manipulated, but a man of profound internal depth, a man she must constantly level herself up for, to remain on his journey. This respect is the root of loyalty, because she understands that if she doesn't cherish your presence, you have the backbone to walk away without regret. Ironically, it is that willingness to walk that acts as the invisible chain, keeping her closer than ever. To better understand this quality, let's look at how it operates in the most practical situations of a relationship, situations where most men fail due to knee-jerk reactions. The first is when she suddenly becomes silent or begins testing you with irrational demands. This is the silent test, designed to measure the density of your frame. A man lacking weight will immediately spiral into panic. He double texts, asks, "What did I do wrong?" and tries to mold himself to please her, only proving that his peace is entirely dependent on her mood. In contrast, the man with a solid frame chooses composure as his answer. He recognizes the test. He gives her the necessary space and continues to focus on his work, his passions, and his own world with a calm attitude. My world still turns, even if you are silent. Second is in leadership and decision-making, where decisiveness is the ultimate expression of internal power. Instead of saying whatever you want to appear nice, which is actually just an abdication of responsibility, a high-value man listens with respect, considers all sides, but remains the one to put the final period on the decision based on his moral compass and long-term goals. Finally, in moments of heated conflict, instead of being sucked into a vortex of anger or blame, he maintains a low, steady tone. He focuses on solving the problem, not attacking the person, proving that he is the one setting the emotional tempo of the relationship, not a victim of it. This stability creates a sense of absolute safety, allowing a woman to drop her defenses and truly be herself in the presence of a solid anchor like you. Why, in modern society, do we see so few men possessing this weighty presence? The answer lies in an era that educates men to try to be loved, to prove their worth by pleasing others, and to be haunted by a fear of being discarded if they don't meet every expectation of society and women. However, internal stability isn't something you get through trying or acting. It only emerges when you dare to face your greatest fear, the fear of losing the person you love. To become irreplaceable, you must have the courage to accept that you could be replaced at any time and still be okay. This courage isn't the absence of fear, but the act of operating on core principles. Despite the presence of fear, most relationships don't crumble because of a third party. They crumble because the man abdicated his position of spiritual leadership long before she ever left. He lost respect for himself before she ever had the chance to. When you cultivate this quality, you'll realize a beautiful paradox. When you stop worrying about how to make her not want to lose you, and instead focus entirely on becoming the most solid and valuable version of yourself, that is exactly when you become most captivating and precious to her. Ultimately, the quality that makes a woman never want to lose you isn't a gift you give to her. It is a fortress you build within your own soul when no one is there to watch. It is the heavy silence in your eyes, the unwavering resolve in your step, and the ability to master your own destiny, even when the storms surround you. When you truly understand this, you will no longer seek to hold or control the woman beside you. Instead, you will redirect that entire energy toward a question that redefines your existence. What kind of man am I that even when I do not speak, my presence becomes as essential as breath? In the life of another, the price of your presence isn't found in how much you give, but in how much you are worth. When you stand alone,